In this video we're going to talk about a question that gets asked an awful lot. Can you use images you find on Google Images on your website? Google indexes images quite well nowadays, and you can drill down to find the best image for almost any imaginable purpose, and probably quite a few unimaginable things or ideas that are left to someone else's imagination preferably. But that's another story. But can you actually legally use the images you find on Google Images on your website? And the quick answer to that question is maybe, but you need to do a lot more research than just searching Google Images, and you can't necessarily take Google's word for what's usable and what isn't, which is a shame, but it's a computer and it's guessing to a fair extent. Because like everything else it indexes, Google has to do a lot of work to decide what to show and how to categorize things, and where images are concerned it's not always easy to work out what rights, if any, are available. For starters, by no means every place shown in Google, or every image shown in Google Images, credits where they got the photo from. For instance, if I'm using a photo in one of my blogs or sites, I don't put credits on the various sites. Usually because I'm using royalty-free images that don't require any attribution. I choose them because they don't require a link back. And I get the images from quite a different variety of places. Stock Exchange, which is actually sxc.hu, weird domain name, but just search for Stock Exchange, you'll find it. And this has a mixture of licenses and also includes some paid for stock photos. Some of the free photos require attribution, others don't. You just read the terms and stick to the ones that don't. Photolia, which is a paid for stock photo site, it's good, much wider range than Stock Exchange has for free, but you need to use a reasonable number of images in a year, otherwise your credits just expire, which is annoying. Wikimedia Commons is the other one that's often overlooked. It's actually, I think, where Wikipedia get their images from, but don't hold me to that. But it's another source of royalty-free images, and again, a mixture of licenses. You need to get your head around the different types of Creative Commons license. But the thing with images is that the copyright normally stays with the person making the image. So, for instance, photographers have the right to use all those photos they took, even if you subsequently got charged for the photos. Which means that those wedding photos, the baby photos, family photos, anything else, all have their copyright owned by the person who actually held the camera, unless they've explicitly opted out of that. And you just buying the photograph from them doesn't actually automatically grant you copyright. So you can't just go using the image elsewhere. You've bought that copy, a bit like you buy a CD of music or whatever. You haven't got the right to give it away to everyone else. You've just got the right to use it yourself. And it also explains some of the weird things that you sometimes see a TV show watched recently pixelated out a t-shirt because the image on the shirt was the cover from David Bowie's Aladdin Sane album, and they hadn't got the television rights to show that image. Images are really complicated, and that means that simply copying an image from Google Images is not a good idea, certainly not without checking further, because what happens is the original copyright owner can and often will approach you and ask for the royalties that they've basically been denied. They'd charge you a fee, and some of the messages their lawyers send out are not pleasant at all to receive. Pretty much the legal equivalent of demanding money with menaces, but they're legal, and a copyright owner is well within their rights to demand the money. They've been defrauded of money. And it's not a defence to say, oh, I got it from the internet, or the site that you got it from claimed it's royalty free. Innocence in this instance doesn't prove that you're not guilty. And it's one of the reasons I like Stock Exchange as a site, because it's owned by Getty Images, and they're one of the largest photo libraries in the world. So personally I feel that if I got it from Stock Exchange and Getty owned that, I'm guessing that they check all the images before they upload them to ensure that I've got a good enough degree of protection. I'm prepared. They don't state it explicitly, but I'm prepared to assume that, and I think it's probably likely. But I would be, and I am, much more cautious about images from elsewhere, especially if they're just free from some weird site in the middle of nowhere. And personally, I wouldn't use any images I found on Google Images unless they were clearly available, so I'd click through to the site, and it would need to be a large, heavily indexed royalty-free image site, so I was again reasonably assured that lawyers weren't going to come after my throat. So things like the occasional tick or cross, but very little else. It's just so much safer to get images from dedicated royalty-free image sites, and they're free or cheap. Fotolia, the paid ones start at $1 a piece. It's not expensive. And also the paid for ones, or even the free ones like Stock Exchange, it's just so much easier to search because they tag the images to help you track down precisely what you want. It's a lot better than Google, which can go astray quite fast. And generally, website content, whether it's images or anything else, is good. And if you'd like some help taking massive action on creating website content, click the link below this video and join me on that. So thanks for watching.